Have you ever slept with your sister's husband and liked it? I have. And no, I'm not sorry. My name is Emily, 29. The forgotten second daughter, the blurry face in every family photo. You know the type. My sister Rachel, she's everything I'm not. Poised, polished, perfect, and married to Mark. Mark, the kind of man who walks into a room and silence follows. Not because he's loud, but because his presence speaks first. When we first met, he hugged me like family. His hand rested on my waist just a little too long. Half a second. Long enough to be noticed, short enough to deny. Women can tell when they're being looked at like that. You don't need words. Your skin just knows. 3 years later, I was single, heartbroken, living alone, and craving something I couldn't name. So I packed a small bag, a few clothes, a few regrets, and some black lace I had no reason to wear. Yet, I called Rachel. She said, "Come stay with us for a few days. You need a break." When I arrived, Mark opened the door. His eyes hesitated, just a second too long, as if he wasn't sure if he should smile or run. That night, Rachel was in a Zoom meeting for hours. I sat in the kitchen, wine glass in hand, looking through their wedding photos, feeling like I was trespassing. Mark passed by, heading upstairs. I looked up and said softly, "Sit with me. This house is too quiet." He sat, one arm's length away. We talked about music, books, and a little loneliness. Nothing dangerous was said, but our eyes, they told the truth. I stood to pour another glass, let my dress slide just a bit off my shoulder. Not too much, just enough. Mark looked, only for a second, but I saw it. I didn't do anything that night. I just went to bed with a smirk, because I knew if a man isn't starving, he won't know how to beg. The next morning, Rachel left for a 3-day business trip in Seattle. She hugged me before leaving. "Make yourself at home. You have Mark here anyway." As the taxi pulled away, a breeze caught my dress. It lifted slightly. I didn't pull it down because I knew he was watching. That afternoon, I walked into the kitchen. White tank top, no bra, loose ponytail, lipstick slightly smudged. Mark was chopping carrots. I reached past him for a glass. My chest brushed his arm. Barely. He froze. "What do you want, Emily?" His voice was low, rough. I smiled, popped an ice cube into my tongue. Let it melt slowly. I'm just being comfortable. After all, I'm staying in your house. That night, I showered. Stepped out in a silk slip. Thin, black waist. No underwear. The hallway lights were dim. Mark stepped out from the living room. We nearly bumped into each other. He stopped, stared. I didn't move. We were inches apart, breathing the same air. I looked up, dead in his eyes. "Is there something on my face?" I asked. He took a breath, turned, and walked away, up the stairs. I stood there, heart pounding, not from guilt, not from shame, but because I knew tomorrow he won't walk away.
I thought it was just a slip, a moment of weakness. But when she left the house for 3 days, I realized we couldn't stop. Rachel flew to Seattle on a Saturday morning, and in just 3 days, Mark and I had slept together 9 times, 9 different places, 9 different ways, each time a little deeper into the dark. The first time was in the laundry room. I was hanging towels. Mark walked by, didn't say a word. Then he closed the door, quietly, from the inside. We didn't speak. We didn't need to. He came closer. I leaned back against the dryer. We kissed. Raw, starving, silent. We didn't even get undressed, just pulled things aside. Fast, hot, careful. I bit my lip to keep from making a sound. When it was over, he fixed my dress. I smoothed his hair, and we walked out like nothing ever happened. The second time, under the stairs, I was grabbing water. He was on a call. We passed each other, paused. He pulled me back into the shadows beneath the staircase. Tight space, low light. I pressed my back to the wall. He pressed his hips into mine. Slow, quiet, dangerous. The third time was on the kitchen table. 2 a.m., everyone asleep. I climbed on, pulled my nightgown up. He stood between my legs. We didn't rush. We didn't whisper. Just heavy breaths and the echo of guilt on our skin. The fourth, in the garage, while it rained. The sound of water hitting the roof masked everything. I was shivering. He took off his jacket, laid it on the car seat, and pushed me gently down. My back hit cold leather. His breath was warm, and the storm outside, nothing compared to what was inside us. The fifth time, in the library, I was pretending to look for a book. He followed me in. I didn't undress, just lifted my skirt. He reached under my blouse, found me, owned me. I gasped without sound, head tilted, eyes shut, body arched between stories and sin. Sixth time, on the couch, midday. I was watching a movie, curled up. He walked in, didn't say a word, lifted my dress, covered my eyes with one hand, and held my waist with the other. I moaned into the pillow, soft enough not to be heard from upstairs. Seventh, at the sink. I was washing dishes. He stepped behind me, pressed a kiss to the back of my neck. His hand slid under my dress, slow, sure. Water kept running. My knuckles turned white, gripping the counter. If not for the kitchen fan on high, I would have given us away. Eighth, in the guest bedroom. I told Rachel I needed a nap. Mark came in 5 minutes later. We didn't pounce this time. We laid beside each other. He undressed me slowly, gently, like opening something fragile you know you shouldn't touch. And he did. All of me. Ninth, in the downstairs shower. I stepped in, didn't lock the door. He came in quietly after. No words, no questions. He stood behind me, ran his hands down my soaked skin, from my neck to my chest, to the place only he had touched again and again for the last 72 hours. We didn't talk much those 3 days. We didn't need to. Our bodies did all the confessing. And when Rachel came home, we didn't stop. We just got better at hiding. I used to think I was the one in control. But after 9 times hiding in the dark, I realized I was addicted to the very chaos I created. I know, I shouldn't keep going, but the more I try to pull away, the more my body finds its way back to him. We didn't make love because we were lonely. It wasn't love. It wasn't affection. It was something we couldn't resist. Every time Rachel left the room, a new door quietly opened. A quick kiss in the storage room, a hand sliding under my skirt when I bent down to pick up a towel. Once, in the garage, I was on my knees, and my mouth was full and struggling to keep quiet. We didn't need words. Our bodies said everything. Sometimes, he stared at me for so long. When I walked past the living room in my nightdress, when I laughed with Rachel, when I peeled fruit in the kitchen. That look wasn't love. It was something far more dangerous. Desire, possession, frustration, because we could never be seen. One night, he texted me just one word: want. I opened my door. No smile, no questions. He stepped in. No lights on. We didn't speak. We stood, pressed against the door. I wrapped my legs around him, bit into a t-shirt to silence myself. He groaned into my neck, his body trembling, almost breaking. That night, he didn't leave. He stayed, fell asleep on my chest. The first time he let himself stay. The next morning, Rachel called me down for breakfast. I sat across from Mark. My hands were still shaking. He looked at me. I bit my lip. I used to think I was in control, that I was the one calling the shots. But now, when he's not in the house, it feels like I can't breathe. I crave the way he pins me to the wall. I crave biting my own hand so I won't scream. I crave the danger. And I crave the act of pretending everything is normal every morning after burning in his arms the night before. Maybe you think I'm wrong, that I'm the other woman, that I'm betraying my own blood. You're not wrong, but you don't get it either. When someone looks at you like you're the only addiction they can't quit, you stop caring about being a good person. I no longer ask how long this will last. I don't care if he'll ever leave her. I just want one more night, one more time, one more glance, one more hand, one more breathless gasp pressed against my back. And you? Have you ever cheated? Ever fallen into something both of you knew was forbidden, but couldn't stop? Are you keeping a secret that could shatter everything if exposed? Tell me. In the comments. No judgment, no filters, just truth. Because maybe the next story told here will be yours. If you're ready to confess, subscribe. I'll be here, listening, and retelling it, slow, deep, and aching.